and I was reading this story about a famous entrepreneur. He went to jail. He started many different companies like Retrofin and such. Martin Shirley, I think you've heard of him. We talked about him a couple of times on the show. And he started this company called Drug Like, and he has the domain, and he started the website. It's www.druglike.com. So recently, after he got out of prison, he was banned from the pharmaceutical industry. So this company, Drug Like, what it is it's a SaaS company, or software as a service company. And think of it like, if you're since this is a finance podcast, right? Think of it like Bloomberg, where Bloomberg provides all this finance data and all this finance news. They aggregate different news networks. They provide up to date data to all of these hedge funds and all these portfolio managers and such. And he's doing this for the science community. So what the science community uses is they use this platform called Schrodinger. And Schrodinger is basically a computational platform where you could solve computational physics problems on to basically invent drugs. And it's a very
Wait, hang on. I Are you talking about Schrodinger, the company, the computational chemistry company,
yes,
where you could synthesize molecules and like back test them, and it uses AI and machine learning to
correct.
predict possible outcomes of successful drugs for drug discovery? Yeah, Schrodinger is incredible. They're the largest shareholder is Bill Gates. He owns like 10%, over 10% of the company, and their results are very promising. Like, I actually was talking about them today with someone. Their business model kind of reminds me of like Pfizer. I don't want to like pump their stock too much, but like their business model. Sorry to cut you off, but like their business model is very similar to Pfizer in that um, they have like two arms that like the company consists of, and the one arm is like the software development and the licensing of that software. But it's so genius because in licensing out that software, they actually negotiate equity in these companies.
Correct.
So it's
Yes, the
very
IP.
interesting,
Yeah.
which I love about that. I love it because it's like you make the software, you go through it, you work out all the kinks in house, you master the software. So now you could use it in house for drug discovery, which is good because it's a good proof of concept when you want to pitch this to other companies. That's number one. And then number two is you're getting equity in other companies for licensing this shit out. So you'll have not only recurring revenue, but when they're using your system, you're getting a cut of the pie. It's fucking genius. Their business model is phenomenal. They have a ton of cash. They have very little debt.
Yeah.
And it's a company that I remember I told you about them a while back. They're a company that like I truly believe like in terms of market cap right now, they're under 2.5 billion. I think they could easily 10 to 20x. Like it's very possible. It very much could happen. Like there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. So they do about 100 million in revenue. They kind of like, as you were saying there, this computational physics program, and they sell to like different companies like Pfizer, Merck, and such, so that they can you know look for different drugs and discover different medicines. But they take any drug that they help discover, they take 10% of the profits from that drug. So they get the 100 million just for people using their software, and then they get 10% of the IP for any drug that they help discover. So yeah, they're a very valuable platform. So what Trelly's doing is he's taking this Schrodinger platform, and he's getting rid of the large upfront fee, where like it's only becomes accessible to these expensive companies. So he's not going to charge people up front, and he's just going to collect basically he's going to collect on the intellectual property side. So he's basically he's how there's a decentralized finance movement. He's basically doing this for the science community. He's doing decentralized science, and he's making it more readily accessible to more people. And he's able to do that by basically collecting the profits from the intellectual property, instead of making it a gated community where only these large companies can have the program. And I think this is a good idea because you're decentralizing um, you're decentralizing science. You're making it more accessible to everybody, and a lot of drugs could probably be discovered through the vast knowledge of the whole entire population, instead of it being gated off and having a gatekeeper in this equation.
Yeah, and that's really that's a big movement, and it's definitely a great business model too. But Schrodinger, like, if you look at the price right now, it's like $34 a share. Like, you really can't go wrong, like, at all. It's so fucking like dirt cheap right now. I do think the valuation is still a little high, and the price per share could come down a little bit. But I think for the upside, the value is there for sure, tremendously there. I love how much cash they have on their books. I love that they have no debt. Like it's a great company. Um, and actually, throughout this whole like COVID situation, right? And you saw, and now we're seeing like a giant sell off in markets. But we even when we saw this in March, like Bill Gates is the largest shareholder. He hasn't sold a single fucking share of Schrodinger, and he actually was buying it throughout like the COVID downturn. That was one of his big disclosures, is that he actually added to the Schrodinger position. So he's clearly very bullish, and I think it's going to be a great company, headquartered out of New York. They do a lot of big business. They, like you said, they got deals with Pfizer, Merck. I think uh,
Well, Schrodinger is already a big business, but
well, not well, relatively speaking, not really, because their market cap is only like 2.5 billion right now. So that's like kind of nothing in the grand scheme of things, and especially in that space when you have like $100 million companies, and you see a company like
I
oh my
mean,
god, what's the one that kind of blew up
it's
during
a SaaS
COVID?
business though. How many? There's not that many SaaS businesses over 5 billion. There's PayPal. There's like 4 or 5 SaaS businesses that are worth over 5 billion. There's not that. We're
Well,
looking at it kind
Schrodinger
of as like a healthcare
is,
business. It's not really a healthcare business. It's kind of a SaaS.
but it is, because they're negotiating equity in like the drug discovery of other like that other companies do, like by using their software. That's what's genius about it, is that it's not only a software company, but they're positioning themselves to be like a pharmaceutical holding company as well. That's what that's what's genius about it, is they're effectively putting themselves in a position where they own equity in other companies. So it really almost is like a Pfizer, right? Because if they own 10% of Takena, and Takena, creates some crazy drug that cures leukemia or
They're
like
not taking any of the
very
risk up
well.
front. They're just providing the platform, which is good because there's a lot of risk involved in doing drug
Yeah.
discovery.
Well,
They're letting
but
Pfizer and all these people
they're
take the risk.
smart. They're smart. Yeah, but if you look at like their rev split, the the bulk of their revenue is coming. I agree with you. The bulk of their revenue is coming from that software as a service model, um, licensing arrangement they have. But they are doing in-house drug discovery, right? Because the whole thing is like they're building the platform for other people to use. But if they perfect it in-house and they have a more refined model of it, that's amazing. Because again, it's only going to get better. It's all based off of machine learning and AI. So as they start synthesizing more molecules and the AI becomes much more aware of some of the inputs, and just really just going through molecules and like synthesizing them, you're able to synthesize billions of molecules in a span that a normal company would go through like 1,000 or 2,000. So you're literally talking about a situation where it's only going to get better as years and years go on, to the point where eventually, with all of the knowledge that they're going to accrue and that this AI is going to accrue, it's going to get to a point where it'll be near flawless in like curing things, or like treating like effective treatments for ailments. Like, it's only going to get better, because the limitations of human beings is that there's only like so much knowledge you could possess in one thing, but AI can literally know every single fucking thing. Like, that's what's going to be crazy about it. That's and even once like even with the machine learning aspect too, like this company is going to be big. I said, oh, the company that blew up during COVID, Moderna. Like, there's no way you could sit here and tell me Moderna is justified in having that market cap that they have right now. Like, their market cap's a little fucking crazy. Let me just look very quickly, just out of curiosity. Yeah, like a 70. Like, this is the PE is very low at a 5.7, But like a $75 billion market cap, like that's kind of bullshit. Like all they did, they blew up because of the COVID vaccine. That was it. Like they were nothing before that. The stock was trading at like 15 to $20 a share, and then during COVID, it just went up like a fucking rocket and shot up 2,100%, and peaking somewhere at that 500 per share range. And then that was it. Like then it kind of faded away. But there's no way that's a $75 billion company. Like there's no way.
Well,
Also, I
no, no,
saw
no.
this. What? You think
No, I
Moderna
was
is
going to
definitely?
say Moderna and all these companies, they're being valued like the vaccine is going to be a year in and year out, recurring revenue stream. I look at the vaccine as more of a one-time revenue stream, and they're looking at it as it's going to be going on for as an ongoing basis. And I just don't see that to be the case. But the interesting thing with yeah, the Schrodinger company, I think it's going to be pretty big too. They're discovering a lot of different drugs when it comes into the cancer realm, and yeah, I think they're really going to be big in this intellectual property play. But the interesting thing is about what Shirley's doing and going up and competing against Schrodinger is, say you have a computer, right? I have a computer. We all have computers. Say I have a Bitcoin miner or a GPU or a CPU, right? I
Yep.
can give my computational ability to his company, and if my computational ability helps discover a drug, then I can share in the profits that drug like gets on the intellectual property side. So through selling my computational ability to Shirley's company, drug like, I can get recurring revenue on the back end.